So I'm Dr. Nick Thomas. I'm the Director of Teaching for History, and that degree is based on a 3-year time period with a number of single and joint honours degrees, but all of them have in common a similar structure and a similar purpose. So what we're trying to achieve really is independence of thought and the ability to think for oneself, the ability to ask questions, the ability to penetrate into something and really ask difficult questions of a document or ask difficult questions of a set of ideas and come up to one's own conclusions. So it's not about being right or wrong, it's about exploring. There is no wrong in that kind of context. Some of those seminars are assessed. So for some of our modules, some of the marks for the module will be applied to students running, say, a 2-hour seminar, where you'll have a group maybe of 3-4 students who will probably give some presentations during that 2 hours, but they'll also be the people who are running, say, discussion tasks. And we have people coming up with all sorts of imaginative things for that. So we'll have people doing quizzes and game shows and matching up bits of primary sources and so on and so forth. It makes it fun, but there is the underlying educational purpose behind that is that if you're actively involved in discussion, but also running discussion, you're much more likely to learn. If you're just receiving something in a passive way, your brain will switch off after a while. If you're actively involved, then your brain won't switch off and you're much more likely to remember it in future. It's much more likely to make an impact on your long-term memory, and it will get you involved in deep learning. It's not superficial rote learning, it's just about, deeply embedded ideas that you start to run with and you can then take somewhere else and think about further. That's also really central to the assessment process as well. So the assess seminars are one form of assessment, but for instance, essays, dissertations, those kinds of things, those are about active involvement. So it's not necessarily just about the particular historical topic that you're looking at. It's about, well, how do you synthesize those ideas? How do you express them? How do you weigh up different forms of evidence? And when you get things wrong, you'll then get feedback, whether it's on an essay or an exam or whatever. And you can then learn from that by applying what you've done right and then changing what needs to be changed. So in an incremental way, you improve over a period of time. But because you're actively doing that, you're not just being told, do this. You're learning from it in an active way by going out and actually doing something and making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. So this is a much more deep form of learning than simply, again, learning something by rote and simply repeating it. It's much more subtle learning. Often it's a learning process that students don't really realise they're taking part in because it's much more long-term. It's about small steps over a very long period of time. But it's about pushing yourself in realistic ways over that long period of time so that over that time you slowly improve your marks. You slowly start to get what you need to achieve. It's not about instant fixes. And that means you learn in a much more profound way. So the degree is structured in a way that allows people to breathe, to learn over long time frames. It allows people to think. That's perhaps different to a learning method that they might have experienced before then, but it's something which has real benefits because this is about really substantial learning.